and alongside it, the evolution of financial services. Today, finance is inseparable from the global economy. Driven by globalization, finance has become an integral part of many industries, spurring on growth and development. New technologies, requirements and scenarios signal new challenges. Connection and intelligence will be the key to addressing them. Together, they create financial competence centers and drive universal financial services. Ongoing technological innovation will expand the scope of services and scenarios. How will Huawei's cutting-edge ICTs contribute to the future of finance? Strong computing, storage and connection will optimize collaboration. Centralized computing will become distributed to deliver real-time, diversified and elastic financial services. We will also see storage support data security and reliability, high performance and energy saving. Huawei will build intelligent network connections. Data centers, campuses and branches will deploy high bandwidth, software-defined networks and optimize their O&M efficiency. Huawei will help data centers become greener and reduce carbon emissions. Huawei DC Facility and modular DC solutions will deliver efficient power supply and cooling. Our innovative technologies will enable fast, highly reliable and highly available transactions. Our real-time all-domain intelligence will deliver precision marketing and intelligent risk control. And our green solutions will assure full life-cycle sustainable development. The future of finance will be powered by digital intelligence and green sustainable development. Let's shape smarter, greener finance and create new value together.
A very good morning to our distinguished guests who are joining us from around the region and in Singapore. A warm welcome to Huawei Intelligent Finance Summit 2022. On behalf of Huawei Asia Pacific, we'd like to extend a warm thank you and deep appreciation for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us here virtually on a rainy morning here at the Marina Bay Sands in Singapore. And to those who are joining us virtually from around the world, a very warm welcome to you as well. I'm Stephanie Bovis, and it's a true delight to be here as your MC for this event. The Asia Pacific region remains the engine for the global economy. As the world emerges from the pandemic, now is the time for our leaders and change makers to look towards what lies ahead. The future will be resolutely digital at first, and this shines a spotlight on the urgent need to drive smart and sustainable growth through digital innovation. Through a range of keynotes, summits, and sessions, the Huawei Intelligent Finance Summit explores the possibilities of advancing digital transformation by shaping green, digital, and smart finance, all with the intention to create new value together. It is now my absolute pleasure to introduce President of the Enterprise BG of Huawei, Mr. Ryan Ding, who will be joining us virtually for his opening speech. Mr. Ding, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Huawei Intelligent Finance Summit 2022 in Singapore. It's a great honor to be here with you today to introduce Huawei's latest progress and my thoughts on the development of financial industry. In the past 3 years, we have faced a lot of challenges. Despite this, our overall operations have remained stable. As of last year, our enterprise business group had served more than half of the Fortune Global 500 companies and 49 of the world's top 100 banks. Innovation is Huawei's DNA. We continued to increase our R&D investment to $22.4 billion last year, ranking number 2 in the world. In the future, Huawei will keep focusing on digitalization and intelligence to enable a low-carbon world, helping customers in various industries go digital. We keep innovating in the ICT field, which breaks throughs in 3 areas: fundamental areas, architecture, and software. Our goal is to develop competitive products from a whole system perspective. Here are some solution highlights. For example, our next generation data center features natural cooling source, efficient power supply and cooling components, and AI-enabled energy efficiency optimization. This helps us reduce the annual PUE of Huawei data center in Ulaanbaatar, Inner Mongolia, to 1.15. Huawei Cloud provides everything as a service. It is the fastest growing among the world top 5 cloud vendors and the number 1 financial cloud in China. For the finance sector, the time for profound digitalization has come. The demand for ultimate user experience and business innovations are accelerating digital transformation. Financial institutions should embrace new technologies and more open architectures. For example, banks used to believe that the super apps were only for big tech. Now we can see that the super apps of leading banks have proven highly successful. They have transformed from mobile channels into core platforms that connect users and the ecosystem to drive business transformation. For example, DBS is pursuing intelligent, intuitive, and invisible banking. By using AI and hyper-personalization, the DBS NAV Planner tool generates more than 30 million insights each month to help customers manage their money better. China Merchants Bank is well known for its mobile-first and super app strategy. With the super app, they launched over 2,200 new functions in 2021. The world's largest bank, ICBC, has built a bank-wide, componentized and configurable business and data capability center. Now, 95% of the new product can be launched in T+0 or T+1. We believe that better connectivities, intelligence, and more scenario are the key to build competitiveness in the digital era. We need to provide better omni-channel digital experience, embrace cloud and open technologies, and better connect our users, platforms, products, and services through technology collaboration. Also, the data-driven operation model is the core challenge. We believe that real-time decision-making, data AI integration, and centralized data platform and governance are 3 key capabilities. Finally, platform plus ecosystem drives service innovation, stimulates new scenarios in various industries, and enables ubiquitous financial services. Huawei will focus on 3 directions to help digitalize the financial industry. First is to build smarter and more open hybrid multi-cloud architecture and data capabilities. Second is to provide green and robotic infrastructure for business agility and sustainable development. And third is to create an open ecosystem which allows us to provide scenario-based solutions and build complete solution-rich banks. Next, let's take a look at some success story. In Brazil, we helped a leading bank build a large AI-based customer engagement center. The solution delivered superior customer experience and a significant TCO reduction. We also supported ICBC to build a cloud platform. Today, over 90% of its mainframe traffic is offloaded to the cloud, and its cloud services are used 12 billion times a day. Using AI, cloud, and IoT technologies, we built an inventory financing platform with Shanghai Pudong Development Bank. It makes flagged inventory visible, traceable, manageable, and creditable. 99.99% of abnormal events can be detected, and the credit approval time is reduced from 15 days to 1 day. Low carbon is the ultimate goal of green finance. Huawei contributes to this through IC solution at 3 levels. For green facility, Huawei's green DC power supply provides high energy efficiency. For green infrastructure, our high-density hardware, intelligent software, and simplified architecture reduce equipment footprint and power consumption. For green operations, Huawei's intelligent management system can significantly reduce OPEX. For example, we helped a top bank in Singapore to deliver its green strategy. Our green power solution reduced its carbon emission by 10%. All-flash storage saved 50% of the footprint and 70% of the power consumption. With our AIOps solutions, its operational efficiency is increased significantly. Following the concept of co-creation, sharing, and win-win, we are working with partners to dive into various business scenarios. Now, we have worked with more than 150 solution partners in financial area to develop joint solutions in the fields including digital banking, risk control, digital China, and so on. For example, in Singapore, Huawei and Temenos provide a cloud-native digital banking solution for neobank, which is Natis. We deployed an AIOps solution for top bank. We look forward to team up with more partners to explore the digital future and to bring value to the customers. I'm sure with the joint efforts of our customers and partners, we will find a way toward smarter, greener finance, creating new value together. Thank you all for coming, and I hope you enjoy the summit. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ding, for kickstarting this event. Ladies and gentlemen, we now move on to learn more about digital transformation and how we can create digital finance with the inside-out strategy. It's my honor to welcome on stage Chief Information Officer, Head of Group Technology and Operations, DBS, Mr. Jimmy Ng. Mr. Ng, please.
All right, thank you everyone, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I think that it's really a great honor to be here. And it's also very good that we can actually do a presentation in the 3D format on stage, rather than the 2D format on screen. In fact, this is going to be my first physical presentation after 2.5 years. So first and foremost, I just want to thank Huawei, as well as Jason for inviting me here for the keynote speech. I've entitled this segment A Different Kind of Bank. And really is to give you a flavor in how the fabric of DBS has changed over time. Today, we have about 12,000 technologies, and they're based out of Singapore and India. And in September, we'll be opening our development center in Guangzhou. 12,000 technologies. It comprises more than 1/3 of the entire bank, more than the number of bankers that we have in the bank. It really tells you that the fabric of DBS is actually quite different. We are more like a technology company that happens to be a bank. Isn't it ironic that many of the other participants or competitors in the field. They are technology companies that want to be a bank, and we are actually on the reverse trend as well. And the question is, why do we do that? What I want to do in the next 15 minutes is take you through a segment of our whole entire digital transformation story. I would like to actually cover it in 3 parts. The first part of it is really give you a brief of the trilogy of the DBS transformation story. Second part of it will be giving you a glimpse in terms of all the technology that propelled DBS in this transformation cycle. And the third segment will be looking at all the technologies that will propel DBS, I think, in the next 10 years, the kind of technology that will actually propel us in the next cycle of transformation and where we're heading next. So let me start with the trilogy of a DBS transformation story. Now, as all good stories or movies is always told in 3 parts, and that's no different from our DBS transformation story as well. In essence, it actually had 3 waves. The first wave is really riding the Asia wave. And in this particular wave, we actually caught the wave of the China opening and actually capitalized on the intra-Asian trade growth as well as the Asian wealth creation. In the second wave is where we embark on the digital wave and riding on the digital wave. It's really using technology to leverage these disruptive technologies for future growth. And the third wave is where we are today, riding on the sustainability wave. So I'm very happy and glad to actually hear some of the opening speech by Ryan, talking about all the wonderful technologies in green technologies that will enable us and the whole world to actually digitize in a responsible manner. And it's really taking our whole entire bank into the next transformation cycle for a better tomorrow. Let me actually briefly give you some insights in terms of the transformation. What have we done in each of these waves? While we actually write on these 3, I think there's actually certain nuggets in which I would like to actually highlight. So let me start with the riding the Asian wave. While we actually take advantage of the China opening, I think at the back end of the whole entire transformation, it's really about customer centricity. If you look at the whole entire aspiration that we actually put out in 2009 and 2010, is to be the Asian bank of choice. I think underlying this very mundane aspiration, it being Asian bank of choice, the operative word is choice. Customer must choose us. And hence, the whole entire transformation team around this period was really about customer centricity. If you actually think back, prior to 2009, banks actually do provide service on our terms to the customer. Which channel to use, what product we serve, what information they need, and what information they need to provide in what kind of format. And if you actually have to wait, you queue up, you take a number. And that, in essence, is the way that we have been doing banking all this while. And really, to actually change the whole entire psyche and mindset, what we wanted to do was actually do banking in a much more convenient manner for our customer. And we actually launched quite a number of programs and campaigns to actually help us to do that. I'd like to actually highlight only a couple of them. The first one is about having this PIE, the process improvement events. We conducted hundreds of these PIE events, getting people into the room, and basically to actually work out, how much of customer wait time can we actually take out from the systems. And we set ourselves targets, millions of customer wait time to be taken out of the systems. And this is actually achieved in a very, very quick manner. Having people coming together and working through the process and taking out what we call waste from the systems. The other big metric that we use is customer wait time. Millions of customer wait time has been removed. The other program that we run was actually to come up with our customer service ethos. And we encapsulate that in an acronym called RED, R-E-D. Now, RED stands for being respectful, easy to deal with, and being dependable. It's a program that we run, and we actually run it in such a way that it not only impacts the frontline customer that deals with the customer every day, but we get all the support functions, be it audit, operations, compliance, finance, technology, all into the action. Meaning that they also need to understand how do we actually put all the processes at the back end to actually benefit the customer. And the efforts paid off. In 2009, our customer satisfaction index, DBS, was right at the bottom. By 2014, we actually right at the top, beating all our foreign competitors as well. So the first phase of this transformation is really not about technology. It's about changing the mindset, changing the people to actually pivot from inside out to outside in, and be able to be really customer focused. And we were doing very well. I mean, during this period of time, and business grew as a result of all the transformation that we have done, and just by being focused on the customer. But by 2014, we actually scanned the horizon and actually looked at the whole entire competitive landscape. And we noticed two twin threats, the twin threats that we face. I like to actually call them the piranhas and the sharks. And let me explain. One of the first threat that we face in the piranhas are the really small startup fintechs. Those are the ones that are actually very nimble, able to actually provide monoline kind of services and products in a very efficient manner, and being able to nibble at the heels and to be able to actually take part of the business out of you. But like piranhas, they can only take a certain part of our revenue away from them. But imagine if you have a school of piranhas, they can actually eat you for lunch. The second class of competitors that we looked at are what we call the sharks. These are the ones that are actually big platform players. They are really in the e-commerce space, like Alibaba, Tencent, and even for Amazon, right? They have the customer base of millions, in millions. They have the technology, and they also have the money. And those are the ones that are increasingly also getting into the business of banking. And when we actually look at the competitive landscape, we realize that one of the things that we really need to do is to actually dial up on our digitalization program, and hence the second wave, riding on the digital wave. But in order for us to be competitive in terms of getting technology right, we have to be digital to the core. And what that means is that you cannot just have an app that's out there that actually do all the wonderful things without re-architecting the backend and re-gutting the whole entire infrastructure that we have. So what we did is a group of us went to Silicon Valley. And we went to actually learn from the likes of the Gandolf companies. The Googles, the Facebook, Netflix, and really understand how they operate and how they actually run their technology. And we came back, and we actually started this whole entire program called the Gandolf Program. Now, if you actually look at the word Gandalf, it's actually taken from inspiration from the Lord of the Rings, the wise wizard. But if you look at the acronym, it stands for Google, Apple, Netflix, and D is, of course, DBS. And then you have Amazon, LinkedIn, as well as Facebook. And collectively, you actually call them the Gandalf companies. And we wanted to be the D in Gandalf, and being a technology company. So we cast our aspiration to become a technology company way back in 2015. And we actually took that and actually transformed the whole entire bank, re-gut the whole entire bank from the legacy systems to open systems, and to be able to actually move onto the cloud in a very agile manner. And we adopted a lot of practices that were practiced in these companies. Now, this actually created a slew of initiatives that later I'll show you. We actually created the DigiBank for both India as well as Indonesia. We modernized our whole entire mobile banking in Singapore. We created PayLah systems for our payments. Some of this you actually see in the later slides. And the key thing is this, being able to actually be able to do that, actually built on the fact that we wanted to be digitally friendly, and also riding on the fact that we wanted to be customer-centric. No, we actually came up with different kind of measures to be able to actually look at what we call negative customer impact, NCIs. So in the first phase of our transformation, we look at customer wait time, The second phase of our whole entire digital transformation, we look at negative customer impact. The impact that you have a customer that cannot transact through your mobile and digital devices, and how many of them and how much of this can we actually remove out of the systems. And during this phase, we aim to be the best bank in the world. And come 2018 and 2019, we actually won the best bank and best digital bank as well as the best bank in the world. So the whole entire accolades came early. And we were actually sitting there, thinking about the next 5 years. What's the future for us? And, having achieved what we have just set out to do, in 2014. And, the third phase of the whole entire transformation, which is riding on the sustainability wave, is exactly where we are today. We wanted to really reimagine the future of banking and being a bank, the best bank for the better world, and to be able to play to the ESG agenda. And that's where we are today. And if you remember, I think that was in 2019. And what happened the year after? COVID struck. And I'll tell you that, the whole entire thinking around sustainability actually played out very well in the whole entire event. We use technology that we have built, to actually benefit our employees. We managed to send our employees to work from home within the span of 2 weeks. And 80% of our staff were actually, up and running, working from home. And in this regard, I just want to say another big thank you to Huawei. And Huawei actually provided us a lot of the servers that we really needed at that point of time to put out all these VDIs and VPCs to actually get that organized. We actually protected our staff. And secondly, we actually make a difference to our customers. A lot of the measures that was taken by the government to actually give relief to all the companies. We created a chatbot to enable them to actually log on to actually find out whether they actually qualify for those relief and be able to apply online. Now for the corporate customers, a lot of them are unable to actually come into the office to be able to actually pass you a lot of documents. And we actually created a DigiDoc app to allow our customers to actually bring the documents online without coming to the branch. Now for our communities, for those people who are in Singapore knew that we had a big problem in the dorms for our foreign workers. We went in and we actually helped them to digitize in terms of the payments that they can do and the remittance that they can do. All this was actually enabled by the technology that we use, in the second phase, that we actually built out in the second phase of our transformation. And the story continues, till today. So what I'd like you to do at this point of time, is to actually give you a really glimpse of the technology that propelled DBS in the whole entire last transformation. If you actually look at the bottom of the chart, you actually see all the channels that we have created. In 2010, we have our mobile banking for our retail customers. 2011, we created DBS Ideal, which is really our corporate online for our customer. And if you remember, that's actually the first phase. The black part of it is really the first phase of our whole entire transformation, riding the Asian wave. But even then, if you actually look at the top line, we've actually been using data, AI and ML, for a lot of our whole entire transformation initiative. In particular, to note, ATM cash load optimization is one of the big initiatives that we run. Remember when I actually spoke earlier, when we talked about cutting out customer wait time? For those people who are in Singapore and Singaporeans will know that there's always a very long queue in DBS ATM machines. If you look at what we have today, there are hardly any queues. And the reason for that is this whole entire use of data, as well as analytics, AI, and machine learning, to look at the whole entire cash loading optimization. That actually cuts out a big part of the customer wait time during that period. between 2015 to 2019 is our whole entire digital transformation effort. And over there, you can see we actually came up with our whole entire PayLah app, which is our payments app. In fact, that was actually developed way before FAST was actually developed, way before the National Rail was developed. In fact, all the customers in DBS are able to actually transfer money from one person to another just using the whole entire mobile number. Of course, we created DigiBank for Indonesia as well as India. We modernized Singapore, and we call ourselves the DigiBank app. In 2017, we created this whole thing called POSB Smart Buddy. Really, this is a segment for the kids, the schools. For those, again, parents who have kids in school today, you can actually open an account and they get a smartwatch and be able to actually buy their food in the canteens. And this is all enabled by the technology that we have built over the last few years. And of course, in 2018, we modernized our call centers and using the IVRs as well as voice analytics. And in the course of doing that, if you actually look at the top of the chart, where we actually use bulk of the data for various purposes. Now we look at a branch pit stop, which is basically a branch risk analysis application that we run for predictive auditing. In fact, a lot of this type of initiative was actually done by the audit department, not the, of all places that you can imagine. The audit department were actually doing a lot of this initiative and innovation. Trading pit stop was really for fraud, detection of fraud in the trading room. Crane was really about looking at credit analysis for weak credit, right? And so on and so forth. Now, a lot of this were actually done in the use of data AI and ML during this period. But what's really significant is really this thing about ADA, which is in 2019, the first line, the data platform that we actually created called ADA. Now, ADA is really something which we created to allow ingestion at scale, AI ML to be created at the back of it. And since we actually created that platform, you can actually see in 2020 there's a slew of whole entire AI ML type of application being created. That actually took out the bottleneck of how AI ML is doing. We managed to scale and industrialize that. So this is really, the last decade of whole entire transformation is really riding on the whole entire data AI ML journey. In the next decade, I think where we are going, I think that blockchain is going to be the next game changer. A blockchain and smart contracts as well as tokenization. I think if you have read in the newspaper, we have actually done quite a few collaboration with other companies, with Partior, which is a blockchain-based settlement systems. Climate Exchange is also another blockchain-based credit tokenization and trading system. We also set up DDEX, which is our DBS digital exchange. We are the first regulated entity to actually set up a digital exchange. And so on and so forth. I think over the next few years, as you can see, there will be some other technologies that will be tracking, the immersive technologies, as well as the delivery technologies, and as well as some of the infrastructure. And the maturity level in which they are at today, may not be able to give us a significant pickup in the way that we actually do our whole entire transformation. But as these technologies mature, I think what we'll see is that you'll see a convergence with the blockchain technology. And in fact, over the next 5 years, we'll see a lot more of these marketplaces, of this use of blockchain in a very, very interesting way that we can foresee. Now, I'm not going to stop there because I think this is a wave in which I think we will have to deal with. And in many ways, I think that the way that we have leveraged technology in the last decade and in the coming decade, it's going to actually position DBS to be a very different kind of bank. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ng. Kindly remain on stage, please, as we proceed to the launch of the Innovation Showcase at DBS Newton Green. Now, we know that the future will be digital first, and thus we need to drive smart and sustainable growth through digital innovation now. We're here to launch the Innovation Showcase at DBS Newton Green, a collaboration towards shaping smarter, greener finance between Huawei and DBS. To join Mr. Ng on stage, it is now my pleasure to invite Chief Executive Officer, Global Digital Finance, Team of Huawei, Mr. Jason Cao. Mr. Cao, please make your way to the stage.
So, thank you very much, Jimmy. I think you just show us a great picture how have done the digital transformation. Also show us a great future what we do, and we've been working with DBS very successful in the last 3 years. And thanks for the support from DBS, from Jamie. And today we are very happy to be here again to have such a launch ceremony. This means a new journey starts. We'll be working the latest technology, trying to explore how the ICT technology can change the industry and move it to the sustainable development. So we are very, very happy to do this exploration together with DBS.
Thank you. I think that as we digitalize over the next decade, more and more we will have to actually keep green technologies in mind, because that's the only way that we're going to save the world.
Great.
And with that, gentlemen, to officiate the launch, if I can kindly ask that you take a step behind the globe over here. And on my count from 3, you'll place your hand on the globe. Gentlemen, are we ready?
Okay.
In 3, 2, 1. And with that, we present to you the Innovation Showcase at DBS Newton Green. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you, James.
Mr. Ng, Mr. Cao, if I can kindly ask that you remain on stage for a photo opportunity. It's just in the center of the stage. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Ng, Mr. Cao. All right, I will leave the stage now to Mr. Cao, who will proceed with his sharing on shaping smarter, greener finance together. Mr. Cao, take it away.
Okay, thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Warmly welcome to Singapore and attend this Huawei Intelligent Finance Summit 2022. I think after we listened to Jamie, a very inspiring speech, and really bring us, the digital thinking. And today, I'm very happy to be here because we see a lot of old friends, since the pandemic, almost 3 years we haven't met, So we also have a lot of new friends here. So I think to have this meeting in Singapore is really have a special meaning. I think today the world is very much isolated. We want to be more integrated, than ever. So Singapore is really, I think it's the best place of the combination of the Western and Eastern civilization, and also it's the best combination of the technology and finance. So I think the discussion here will be very joyful. And I will spend 20 minutes to share with you, our latest progress, our source in the financial area, and also our strategy. And for sure, I will help our colleagues give a little bit of advertisement about our solutions. We will announce in this summit. Okay. So Huawei have been working in the financial industry 11 years, actually. So we've been already working with more than 2,000 worldwide financial institutions in more than 60 countries and regions. Here you can see nearly half of the top 100 banks we are already been cooperating together. And in the last 3 years, you know, the external environment actually is quite harsh. But our financial business have a very, very rapid growth. More and more customers started working with us, choose Huawei. I think it's because of the innovation and also our service. And you can see also the cloud and the ecosystem is very important, is our core strategy. We've been investing huge in the cloud. Right now, we already have a worldwide cloud network. You can see we are already the top 5 cloud providers. In the financial area, I'd like to see, for example, in China, we are already the #1 player. Especially for the partners. Globally, we have more than 150 financial solution partners working with us together. I also would like to take this achievement is due to the support from our customers and partners. I would like to say thanks. Yes, thank you for your support. So I'd like to give you some cases. Some of them are very fresh cases we have done in the last year. We try to help our customers to dive into the digital transformation. You can see, as Mr. Randy mentioned, in Singapore, we helped the Greenlink Digital Bank to launch their cloud-native digital banking. And in China, we work with China Merchants Bank, deploy a hyperscale data warehouse on cloud. The data volume is around 10 petabytes. We also work with the China Postal Saving Bank. It's very, very new cases. We help them to migrate from the traditional platform to the cloud platform for ultra-large and very complex core banking system, which use our Gauss DB. And in the Middle East, we also work with central bank to migrate the next generation fast payment system to the cloud. You can see we try to cooperate with these banks and to power them to change the bank through the cloud. For sure, the infrastructure is also very important. This is what we have been in the last many, many years, which we are very good at. Try to work with these banks to optimize, run the bank. For example, in Germany, we work with a bank, very, very big bank, use our autonomous technology to build a self-management architecture. And right now, it serves more than 40% of the population. And also in Singapore, I think we work with all of the top banks here with the sustainable technology. Very interesting, we also explore new scenarios. For example, in China, we work with the China Agriculture Bank to develop the smart contract with the ECNY based. You can see we have done quite a lot of interesting cases. And take a look at the future. As you can see from Jimmy's speech, we think the technology always changing the game of the financial area. There's 2 key words. One is connection, the other one is intelligence. If you take the long run, take a look, these 2 technologies combined together always change the forms. You can see the ATM change, they have broke the time limit. The mobile banking broke the space limit. The super app, we think, it reshaped the engagement model. If we take a look in the future, the CBDC of digital assets will change also a lot of the system. For sure, when we take a look the Internet of Things development, by 2025, there will be around 100 billion connections. We think the Bank of Things will happen. This will change the way we deal with things. The things may have the banking account. And for sure, Metaverse is coming. According to the estimation, there will be probably 75 billion digital human. What does that mean for us? On the other side, if you take a look at the intelligence, you can see right now we are we are in a time of intelligent decision. We already have a lot of intelligent computing solutions. But we think this is very important for the AI, because 2022, we enter a new time. Yeah, the AI computing power, we will achieve 1 zettaflops. It's a milestone. We think the next stage, will be the hyper-personalization time. Yeah, for the banking, this is very, very important. As Jimmy also mentioned, a smart contract will come. We think that the smart decision can be made everywhere. We think this connection and the intelligence technology will bring a lot of new forms or new business model to us. There are a lot of opportunities, for sure, a lot of challenges. As you can see today, the digital experience everyone is talking about. What we see is we have a lot of traditional channels, and we have more and more new digital engagement. This afternoon, our colleague will introduce you a lot of very, very interesting new engagement. So with so many models of channels of engagement, and also we see more and more service, more and more scenarios. On the back end, you will see more and more data, Some you can use immediately, some you cannot. And more and more complex technologies over there. So actually, there are a lot of challenges. How to, on one hand, drive new services. On the other hand, how to optimize the customer experience from end to end. It's a quite big challenge. I think the leading banks have already made a lot of best practice. For example, in China Merchants Bank, you can see, they take this mobile-first strategy and the super app strategy. It's been proved quite successful. In the last 5 years, their MAU kept growing and the NPL keep decreasing. So I think from all of the experience, Huawei as a technology company, we always think, what shall we do? What shall we do? So as Mr. Ren mentioned, actually we have 3 key strategic initiatives. So as you know very well, is Huawei's infrastructure. Today we call it greener. We think we need the sustainable and autonomous infrastructure to deal with the business challenges. This is one thing we do. Another thing we call it smarter. It has 3 pillars: digital engagement, data-driven and intelligence, and hybrid multi-cloud synergy. This I want to highlight here will be our focus, for sure, together with infrastructure. And the third thing, very important, we call it together, is to develop diversified solutions and building an ecosystem. Together with our partners and also together with the banks. On the right hand, you can see, based on our strategy initiative, this is our solution framework. We are developing a lot of solutions out of this framework. We think the banking's architecture is moving from a very, very open and unlimited way. Based on autonomous infrastructure, we are also developing a very, very powerful intelligent engines based on the data capability. A lot of work is ongoing. In the future, we will announce, inform you if we have any progress. For sure, we want to, based on that, to help our customers to build a fully connected, fully intelligent vision, which means connect your customer for better experience, also connect the platform, and for agility. So I will give you some examples in next few slides. How do we do it? Firstly, let's talk about the customer experience and the digital engagement. I remember clearly from the CEO of DBS. He mentioned the initiative of the digital transformation of a bank. It's the shift or the change of the customer behavior. The ultimate goal is to provide a better customer experience. So for us, we see today, like for example, the super app model has been proved a very, very key role in the bank's platform. Okay? We need to consider to integrate the traditional channels and the new digital channels. And the super app, we think on one hand, it can connect your retail customers and also the business customers very well. As the China Merchants Bank, you can see that. On the other hand, it can connect the bank internal services and also the external services from the ecosystem. Plus the data-driven operation, I think this will totally change the bank to a data-driven and a digital experience way. So we have a case, we have done a very interesting project in Myanmar with the KBZ Bank. You can take a look. In KBZ Bank, they just launched the KBZ Pay 3 years ago. 3 years later, you can see they have connected more than 9 million customers, and 45,000 agents and 310,000 merchants. Actually, it's a very, very big volume. This is even 90 times of its branches. So through this super app platform, the financial services are truly integrated into life, and the life changes the financial services. This afternoon, I think our colleagues from KBZ, they will share their experiences. Second thing, I want to talk about data. This is data. Is the core, we think, for the digital transformation. We aim to help the financial customers to enhance their three capabilities. We think these three capabilities are very important for the data. The first one is real time. If you have the data, you cannot make a real-time insight and a real-time decision. That's a problem. The second thing, we think it is convergence. We think we need one data catalog, and also we need to converge the data and AI. The third thing is intelligence. So if you take a look, this architect, this is our converged intelligence data platform. You can see here we use our He2 engine, and it connects the data warehouse and data lake. And also we have the lake formation between data platform and AI. This is very, very important. I think we have this architecture. On top of that, we have two very, very important production lines, or you call it industrialization. Yesterday, I had a meeting. I heard from DBS. They said they had AI industrialization. I think it's the same concept. So the data must enable the flexibility. Model arts enable the flexibility of the AI, autonomic orchestration, and accelerate the model launch. For example, in the ICBC, largest bank in China, with more than 680 million retail customers, they adopt Huawei data solutions, which support them daily online analysis, with 13,000 analysis, and also make anti-fraud response in real time, which is within 30 milliseconds. So powered by this converged lake house, the personalization tagging of SABC could be updated on a daily basis, which makes a 25 uplift in campaign conversation rates. So data is a very, very important direction. When I'm talking to all of the banks, everyone raised the question how to go with the data-driven. And we invest a lot of resources and top talent here. We are very, very happy to talk with you. Let's talk about cloud. So the cloud is so important, we don't need to say. We think the bank are already entered a cloud-native era. And the hybrid multi-cloud has almost become the standard architecture of the banks. Yesterday, we have a small round of meeting. I feel around 10 CIOs. I think all of them, the problem, they are the same. And also the evolution path, the evolution plan also the same. But right now, we see a very big problem is if you go for the hybrid multi-cloud, it is good. Yeah, it is good. Private cloud and the public cloud, and also multi-vendor cloud to avoid vendor locking. And for sure, different services in different cloud for different sensitive data protection. But the problem is if you go to the multi-cloud, how to migrate, how to make sure the synergy between the clouds, and how to implement cross-cloud application management, and also the business switching between the multi-cloud. We see this is a common challenge. So Huawei provide a very important message, I think, here, the hybrid multi-cloud solution. You know, as a newcomer, I think we can do the multi-cloud solution very, very best. You know, there are two things I want to highlight. So the Huawei hybrid multi-cloud allow banks to manage both online and offline resources for application deployments, as well as the AI training through single management portal on premise. Second thing is a very important service I want to say. Later, my colleague William will give you more details, UCS, Ubiquitous Cloud Native Services. Yeah. We can provide a unified deployment and the scheduling of cloud native applications at one time across the clouds. More importantly, it will give the banks the container capability of auto-scaling and auto-recovery across the clouds. I think this is a very, very leading feature from Huawei Cloud. I think it's the best in class in the industry. So we have some cases also I want to share with you. You know, we see the bank doing different migration way. For sure, for the digital bank, it's very easy to build a brand new one. So the GL Bank here it's the same. It's this case. Yeah. We work with our partner terminals. Yeah. So 9 months to have a quick launch. Right now, they are the first digital bank launched recently in Singapore. Yeah. And 100% compliant to the regulations. Especially right now, they have the 3 days agile iteration capability. We have another case also in Thailand with a top bank, SAB there. We work with our partner Sunlight, build a joint digital loan solution for them. So provided a cloud-native solution to realize the digital loan as a service, shorten the time to market for the new requirement to 3 weeks. You know, today, I want to say, you can see here, more and more banks are thinking or trying to do is their core application cloud migration. Yeah, this is the most difficult part. I want to tell you 2 cases, both in China. Firstly, we do with a China top bank, we and our partner Hisense provided a mainframe rehold solution. Yeah, more than 98% of the source code remain unchanged. As well as, but we see 20% cost or saving. It's easy way. The case I just mentioned in the Postal Saving Bank of China, they have done very, very challenging job, but they succeeded. Yeah, migrate its core business cloud. You know they have a quite big, large number of customer base. You can see more than 600 million retail customers. Yeah. In this case, we provide a highly reliable cloud and our distributed database. We call it GaussDB. It's a transactional database, which can support 67,000 TPS and 2 billion transactions per day. It also supports an online database node expansion without business interaction. As I talked to many people, they told me the mainframe migration is a big problem. I can tell you we got a lot of experience. In the whole China market right now, there are less than 1 million MIPS because almost the big banks already almost finished the migration to the cloud. We got a lot of experience. We are very, very happy to share. So let's talk a little bit about the infrastructure. We see to support the business requirements, the infrastructure has to be upgraded. So we think there are very important two directions here. Firstly, from the partially automation to autonomous. Secondly, it has to be green and sustainable. So you can see here, we just list some latest products and our latest features. For example, through our SOCC, we call it. It's a storage optical connection coordination technology, which we will announce in this summit. You can achieve active data synchronization up to 100 kilometers. And also, our secure data protection technology with our Dorado storage, we can achieve, for example, for the anti-ransomware function. We will also announce in this summit, we can achieve 99.9% additional data security and reduce the attacks. A top bank in Singapore have already adopted this solution. And another three very important thing, we call it actually three coordination or three synergies. It's hyper-converged, heterogeneous, and also hybrid multi-cloud. What does that mean? I will just give you one example. For example, AI Ops. Right now, our networking is becoming more and more complex. More and more complex. So how to quickly identify where is the issue? Accurately, it's very important. Huawei and our partner Ethos, we jointly launched this financial AI Ops solution. Through network detection services and intelligent algorithm to detect the services, all the network behaviors. What we can make, so it can realize alarm in 1 minute and identify the problem in 3 minutes and fix the problem in 5 minutes. If one day your customer with his phone got some problems with apps, I think for customer experience, it's very important to find the issue, as soon as possible, fix it. I think this AI Ops can help a lot here. And for the heterogeneous network, what we do here, because we see right now many cases is multi-vendor. For example, our cloud fabric can provide this open and standard capability. Use our runbook solution. We can help the customer to orchestrate the whole network. Also, I want to mention about the full mesh SDH. Especially right now we are facing a multi-cloud situation that connected branches. For example, this SD-WAN solution, they support 5G technology, intelligent routing, LAN WAN integration, and so on. A top bank in South Africa just adopted this solution, and it provided multiple link connection methods, such as 5G plus 4G and internet at the same time. In this case, you can see it reduced the cost by 90%. And can ensure the service quality. So for the green, I don't want to say too much. Randy already talked. The key point I think is here, how we can achieve it, because we are doing the multi-technology. We try to achieve our green targets through these 4 directions: new power supply, efficient algorithm, simplified architecture, and intelligent operation to meet the needs of low carbon. So I already talked about 2 things. I want to share the last thing strategy is about our partnership and ecosystem. You can see working with partners to support the customers' digital transformation is our long-term strategy. Yeah. We already have, I mentioned, globally many partners. We have the consulting partners, service partners, and the solution partners. Yeah. We are trying to enhance this ecosystem. So we have a case, we have built a strategic relationship and a joint solution with Temenos. Last year, we announced it. And we delivered our first success in Singapore, and right now we are going to a lot of the other markets to deliver the composable banking solution together, also based on our cloud capability. A very interesting program I want to say here is the FBGGP. This is a very unique program we just initiated last year. It's Financial Partner Go Global program. Last year we started the first version. We got 25 solution partner participants. So why we do that? Because we found a lot of customers have some certain requests. For sure, Huawei can't do that, but the customers, they want us to help them. On the other hand, a lot of partners have a very unique solution. So we try to bring the customer requirements to the unique partners. Also, we bring the solution from the partners, with the best practice to our customers. You can see I mentioned several times the native solution, which they did before, mainly in China. Then we firstly introduced them in Singapore. It's been very successful, and right now we are working with more than 10 countries and many opportunities. I think the customer need it. And also another case is we work with True Decision. They are very good at anti-fraud. Yeah, such a technology. Yeah, very leading position in China. And we started working with them since last year. Right now, we have the first successful case in the Middle East. We will try to enhance this FBGT program this year. We call it version 2.0. Yeah. What does that mean? We will have more and more service partner and consulting partner join us together to develop the market. And also we want to develop local partners. For example, in this country, if the local system integrators, you're very strong, we can introduce these solutions to you. You can help to promote this solution in this country. This is FBGGP. So in the end, I want to say this summit, we will introduce quite a lot of solutions. You can see I already mentioned some of them from Huawei, our own products, and also quite a lot. It's a joint solution between Huawei and our partners. So I hope in the next days we will have a lot of deep dive. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you again. And I know some of you take a very long trip. Some Brazil friends, it takes 30 hours to be here. And thank you very much for coming. I really hope you enjoy this summit. Okay, let's shaping smarter, greener finance together. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tal, for sharing your insights. Our next speaker will be sharing his insights on new finance in the Metaverse era. Please join me to welcome author, advisor, and global commentator on digital financial services, Mr. David Birch. Mr. Birch, please.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody, and thank you again, Jason, for inviting me here today. It's quite an honor to be here, actually, to talk to you all. I have quite a difficult goal, but I'm going to try and meet it, and I hope you're going to help me with all of this. So I read somewhere that I think 1 in 6 business people could understand the metaverse enough to explain it to somebody else, right? And they were probably lying, to be completely honest. I mean, like, most people don't. There's a million different ways of no one really knows what the metaverse is. In 15 minutes' time, you're going to know what the metaverse is well enough to draw a diagram for somebody else. and you're going to have some ideas about what strategies will apply to your financial services organization in 15 minutes. That's a high bar. So I hope you'll work with me in meeting that goal. So first of all, you don't need to know much about me except to know that I do get to spend some time going around, talking at events, meeting lots of people. I get the opportunity to try to understand what things are real trends, what's really important, and what things are just fluff and hype and so on. So I'm going to share a little bit of that with you today to try to distinguish like the real core of the metaverse. I wrote some books about this, by the way. That's the picture there. Available in all good bookshops. Actually, I hope they're available in all the bad bookshops as well, but there we go. So, what is the metaverse and why does it matter to financial services? Last year, the metaverse, it was, remember the Facebook, they changed their name to Meta, and it was Mark Zuckerberg, and he was dressed up as a skeleton or something. I didn't really understand why. And there was like a bank branch with a tiger in it, and didn't really get it. They like the metaverse, whatever. But this year, one of the world's greatest CEOs, it will go down in history as one of the world's greatest CEOs of Microsoft, paid $75 billion for Activision, the company that made Call of Duty. 75, and this is when a lot of business people began to sit up, wait a second, this isn't just about games, because like he said, this is a step into the metaverse. When somebody like that pays $75 billion, you know that's a serious business. It's not about fluff, not about hype, not about Mark Zuckerberg dressed up as a skeleton. This is about real business. But what is it? It's not Call of Duty, obviously. So the Financial Times had quite a good definition. The Financial Times said the metaverse is really kind of three things. It's these virtual worlds, and it's digital identities that move between these worlds and digital assets that move between these worlds. And I think that's actually quite a good definition. So I'm going to use that definition, and I'm going to try to explain it in technology terms so that you can all work with it. If we split what the Financial Times said, they said virtual worlds, digital assets, digital identity. And I actually think that turns into four key components of a metaverse. Because digital assets by themselves are not interesting. You have to be able to trade them to make an economy, to make business. So just having the digital assets isn't enough. You need the mechanism for trading the digital assets. So that says to me, the metaverse is made up of these four things. It's made up of the virtual world, it's made up of the identities, and it's made up of the tokens, which are the digital assets, and DeFi, which are the protocols for exchanging these tokens. I'm going to drive down into that in a second. So let's just deal with virtual worlds very quickly. I don't want to spend much time on this. Many, many years ago, I got very interested in the fact that people in virtual worlds were doing some real business. You remember that people would buy and sell swords in World of Warcraft and this kind. I got very interested in this, and I asked a guy called Richard Bartle. Richard Bartle is a very famous person to people like me because he helped to write the very first virtual world, the MUD, the multi-user dungeon, many, many years ago. He was one of the two programmers that wrote that. And I said to him, do you think these are real economies in these worlds? And he said, no. He said, because in these worlds, like when people buy World of Warcraft gold, he said, these are people buying things that don't exist from people that don't own them, right? Because, when you buy the magic sword or whatever, it's not really yours. It still belongs to Blizzard Entertainment or Activision or, and the value of that can go to zero or infinity depending on somebody else's programming. It's not really yours. So he said those aren't real economies. But they're the place where real economies could take place. I should say, by the way, when I say virtual world, I don't necessarily mean like Call of Duty or people putting headsets on to play Fortnite. Virtual worlds can mean many things. They might be visual, they might be audio, they might be tactile. The virtual world that we experience when we're doing work together can be very different. If you're commodities traders and you're in a virtual world where the the shape of the hills depends on the value of certain commodities, or you're trying to find a path through a forest to try and get to a best deal. That could be a very different virtual world from a virtual world that I might be in when I'm looking at data, where I'm visualizing data in interesting ways as patterns or contours or stars. Virtual world doesn't necessarily mean Call of Duty. Let's just be clear about that. So what are these assets? What is this property that we're going to have in virtual worlds? We all know the answer to that. You know, Jimmy and Jason both gave you windows into this. We know what the answer to this is. It's tokens. And when I was here on stage for Money 2020 Asia in this hotel back in 2019, Jonathan Larson, who is somebody you should all listen to, he said on stage then, 3 years ago, he said, tokens are more important than cryptocurrencies, ICOs, even the blockchain itself. He said, when we have the right regulatory frameworks, we're going to tokenize everything. Tokens are the key technology. Jay Clayton at the SEC, he said it could be the case that everything will become tokenized. All stocks, all bonds, everything, right? It's tokens which are the key. And that's what changes the virtual world from being something where you don't own things to the place where you do own things. Because you can own the tokens. They're not software in somebody else's world anymore. If we make a simple picture of tokens, I mean, you all know this, right? So there's two kinds of tokens. There's fungible tokens, which are kind of money, and there are non-fungible tokens, which are kind of property. I shouldn't really have said sorry, I should have changed that slide. When I say useful, I mean art. But don't read too much into that. Useless, that means pictures of chimpanzees with sunglasses on and things like that. I don't really care about that sort of stuff. In that token economy, the ability to transact, the ability to move real property around in a virtual world, that means there's a real economy. The token economy is a real economy. And because DeFi protocols allow us to exchange those different types of tokens, that means there's a market. And once you have a market, you have financial services. And that's why the metaverse takes us into the world of financial services. Because the metaverse isn't just a virtual world. The metaverse is a virtual world with real property, with real money, with real transactions in it. And because of that, I think we can reasonably say that on that side of the diagram, we see the future of payments. On this side of the diagram, we see the future of property. And the two things together give us these future markets. I agree with Jason completely. This is the future. The missing ingredient, by the way, I don't want to spend too much time on it today, but the missing ingredient in that space actually is digital identity. That's the part of the equation we haven't quite got right yet. We don't have the globally interoperable digital identities we need to make this work. There are many people like me who think that banks should be in the forefront of that. In fact, it's a bit of a mystery why banks haven't come together to work on this problem sooner. You know, the banks have already done the KYC. It's a sunk cost to them. We can use the modern cryptography and modern standards to change this. It should be the banks that are in the forefront of this. You know, I should be able to I don't want to say this with the regulator here, but I should be able to use my Barclays identity from the UK to open a bank account with DBS here in Singapore. Anyway, I don't want to talk about this, but the point is this is the missing link at the moment. The link between the metaverse and the universe, remember the customer is never going to see the things that I'm talking about. The customer is never going to see DeFi protocols and you know, digital identity standards. The customer's never going to see that. The customer sees, you know, really either a super app with shared identity or smart wallets with shared authentication. I don't want to get into this today. I know we could spend all day talking about this. Personally, I kind of incline more towards the smart wallet solutions because I think they bring together different components in more interesting ways for people, but it's a discussion for another day. So we have virtual worlds, we have the tokens, we have the DeFi protocols, we have the digital identity, we have real markets. So what kind of financial services can we see on top of that? Well, I think the answer is all of them. I agree with The Economist. The Economist said, don't mock the metaverse. It seems funny, people spending money on pictures of chimpanzees with sunglasses on, and of course that's stupid and it doesn't really mean anything, but we can still learn from it. We can still learn from how those protocols work, how they come together. We can experiment with them now. And we can look at them, I mean, there's different ways of looking at financial services. In my head, I divide it between the transfer functions, what we call the transfer functions and the support functions. In the transfer functions, savings and loans, you already see this happening. This isn't something that might happen in the future. There are already people who are lending money in these virtual worlds against these digital assets. It's over-collateralized and it needs more regulation and blah, blah, blah. But nonetheless, these things already happen. And we can already see the next things happening, which is the visualization I was talking about, but also the support functions, the information functions moving into that space, and importantly, the risk functions. And so I thought for the example today, I would use the risk functions as the example. So here, I mean insurance in this case. So here are 3 different examples of how companies are entering that space. So for some companies, the metaverse is just a place to advertise. It's just a place to be known. Customers are there, so we should go there and make ourselves known to them and perhaps educate them. That's the first example. On the right-hand side, you have the second example, which is say, well, customers are there, so we should go there to do business with them. We should transact with them in that space. Now, it doesn't quite work at the moment, because for most insurance companies, even if you're in that, you've got to come out of the metaverse to do the actual transaction with your credit card or whatever. But we're not far from being able to do business with stable coins in this environment, and we'll be able to actually transact the business there. And then finally, you see the third case, which is we actually take the business into that space and we start to underwrite in the metaverse. So we start to look at the actual digital risks in that space, of which, by the way, there are many, and it will take time for insurance companies to work out how to do that. But nonetheless, you see what I mean. There's at least 3 ways you can start working in that space already. So, a simple model of the metaverse is to say the virtual worlds, the digital assets, the protocols for trading them, and the digital identities that we need to make a regulated, healthy market. I actually don't think that's that controversial. I think that's a very clear way of looking at it, and I hope that helps you to start to formulate your own strategies. What does that mean in terms of technology? Here's the diagram that you can draw on the wall to show other people that you know what the metaverse is. So here's the simple diagram of the metaverse. We have the virtual worlds, we have the tokens and the DeFi, that's what people call Web3, and we have the digital identities. And the places where they all come together, and what I would suggest would be the strategic focus for the organizations in this room, is in the middle where we talk about wallets. Because wallets are the central organizing principle of that world. They're the overlap between the customer and the service providers, between the universe and the metaverse, between the real world and the virtual world. It comes down to the wallets. If you open up your wallet right now and look inside it, for most people in this room, I'm sure, your wallet contains either no money or very little money. Most of the things that are in your wallet are actually to do with identity and reputation and credentials. It's driving licenses and loyalty cards and ID cards and all these kind of things. And those all move into that space. And that means, especially for banks, that means being part of that wallet is the critical business strategy. Because even if the bank isn't going to be part of the payment transaction, I mean, let's say I'm in the metaverse and I'm using stable coins or I'm using CBDCs to settle transactions. That goes nowhere near my bank. That transaction just goes from me to the service provider. But the bank can still be present in that transaction because the bank is providing the reputation, not the money. So this is a way for banks to stay part of all of those transactions. So, in summary, my 3 key points. 1, it's actually quite easy to understand the metaverse if you have clear thinking. 2, those 3 different areas of development, the virtual worlds, Web3 and digital identity, are competitive spaces where you should be acting. And 3, if you want a winning strategy in that space, you really do need to look at the wallets. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Birch, for your insightful sharing. Thank you. Our next speaker will be sharing on the development of financial regulations under the trends of digitalization, intelligence, and ESG. Please join me to welcome on stage Assistant Managing Director for the Technology Group, Monetary Authority of Singapore, Mr. Vincent Loy. Mr. Loy, please make your way onto the stage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Huawei, for this invitation. This probably is the first time I've been doing this for probably more than 3 years. So I'm pretty in uncharted territory, so forgive me if I'm a little bit nervous. I'm not going to have any slides, so bear with me. Let me introduce myself. I am the Senior Management in MAS responsible for technology. I have 2 roles. One is responsible for the MAS technology strategy, and I'm also running the technology group within MAS, which means that I run the payment system, the real-time settlement system that underpins Singapore payments. But at the same time, I'm also the regulator responsible for the regulation of our financial services sector. Since I'm in the company of all the technology leaders in the financial services sector, I thought I would cover and share with you in regards to my view, what are the technology risks that I'm concerned as a regulator. As you know, we are in a digital age right now, and this digital age will probably stay with us for some time. Financial institutions will only be successful if they can do 3 things. One is to understand the technology that they are facing. Secondly, to have the ability to make use of this technology. And last but not least, to be able to entrench technology in everything they do in the services that they provide to customer. Regardless, rapid digitization and relentless competition by external environment will put a lot of pressure on the financial institutions in Singapore. And it is imperative for the financial institution to innovate and transform. As financial institutions navigate this highly complex and fast-moving ecosystem, they will need to be mindful and deliberate in managing technology risks that comes with digitization. If they are not done well, this institution will be faced with greater risks, including existential issues. Let me share with you some of the risks that I worry about. Firstly, let me start with technology, which is what we are talking about here. The adoption of technology will always come with a certain amount of uncertainty. How many of you have bought an electric kettle from the supermarket or even the department store and try to switch it on, and when the kettle do not work? It is not uncommon for this to happen. The reason for that is that there's always a 1% chance that the technology doesn't work. As the name implies, emerging technology or new technology, it means that everyone is learning about it, including the regulator. Financial institutions, which I regulate, are normally not at the forefront of this technology. They will need time to understand the technology and also make sure that they know how to manage the risks that come with this technology. It is important not to be carried away with this innovation and forget about the risk of the unknown. Recent history has many examples of these instances like that happened. Early adopter of new technology will be the first one to confront the bugs, design flaw, and other unforeseen implementation challenges. Having said that, this does not mean that financial institutions shouldn't use emerging technology. The reason for that, legacy system has its fair share of problems. Financial institutions here will probably know very well about the problem with legacy system. Unfortunately, legacy system is here to stay, and they will stay here for a long time. At least a lot of these legacy systems support critical workload, and they are also very costly to maintain. There are many risks that come with legacy systems. Example, the lack of documentation, unknown vulnerability, and also reliance on key staff who might not be around later on. This brings me to the next risk that I worry about, which is cybersecurity. This challenge will continue to challenge us and grow due to the increasing surface of attack. We have read and probably heard so much about cybersecurity incidents. And I'm not going to spend too much time to repeat them because it probably will bore you. What is clear is cyber attack is here to stay, and they will become even more ferocious and innovative. If you have not had any cyber attack in your organization, don't celebrate, because I'm quite sure your turn will come. As we all said, it's a matter of when, not if. One area of cybersecurity risk that I very worry about is actually third party. Increasingly, financial institutions need to use a lot of open source, and just now we heard a lot from Huawei and also from DBS in terms of the use of open source and open ecosystem. And most of the service that they provide will be made up of a number of third-party systems, services, or product, because it is neither economically viable or realistic for financial institutions to use in-house product and services end-to-end. As we heard just now, cloud will bring many, many benefits to financial institutions. And we fully support financial institutions in their journey of cloud. However, going to cloud has its health warnings. Concentration risk, cyber risk, data risk, dependency risk, etc., and etc. This increased complexity and interdependency will further accentuate many other risks that comes with digitization. Just to share, MAS has observed many incidents in recent years resulting from this third-party risk. All of us have heard a lot about supply chain attack in recent time. And this is one area that I would urge financial institutions to do more things. They need to work harder to solve the problem. Having said that, I still think that we have not spent enough time focusing on data governance and security. But this will be very important going forward for financial institutions, because all of you will try to use more data to run your business, to make your business even better. This brings me to another important area that I'm also worried about, which is the control of AI used in financial institutions. As we rely on more machine learning and AI to run more of our business, we will need to understand and manage the risk that comes with it to ensure that all these black boxes are fair, transparent, and accountable. All this really depends a lot on people. And people is the next risk that I'm going to speak about. Let's talk about people risk. In fact, this risk is getting bigger and bigger. The reason for that is that, well, we will try to use all the technology to innovate and automate. At the end of the day, it is the people or talent, which is a more politically correct way to call them, to operate and make decisions. How do financial institutions ensure that they have the right amount of necessary talent? And all of us are facing shortage in talent. The fight for talent is intense in the coming year, and we will all suffer from it. And nobody is immune to it. On top of attracting this talent, the job of retaining this talent. so that we do not lose institutional knowledge will be key, and this will pose a big risk to the financial services sector. And this problem will accentuate as the ecosystem partner, the supplier, the vendor will also have similar issue. Just imagine that your vendor who is managing your key system do not have the right people, do not have enough people managing those systems for you. And that's why the diversity in talent and supplier will be important to build resilience within the technology landscape of the financial institution. The sector needs to pay very close attention to talent and knowledge management. The last factor I like to stress on is on process. As the saying goes, rubbish in, rubbish out. Digitization, a broken process, is a waste of effort and will not realize the benefit of technology innovation. To have an effective process, organization needs to have an end-to-end view of the process so that proper controls and efficiency can be leveraged within the whole process. Having said that, with increased specialization in the organization, I do worry about the ability of people within the IT department in one process to understand the impact of his action or his assessment on the other end of the process. How many times have we seen incidents happening due to incorrect impact assessment or wrong decision made by someone who does not know the process well enough in terms of the end-to-end life cycle of the process? Robust process is needed to realize the benefit and also to use technology innovation. I have spent the last 10 minutes listing down some of the key things I worry about as regulator. So what should we be doing about it? Because this is a collective issue. Going forward, let me be very honest. This is a very, very difficult issue, and there's no magic solution to solve all of them, including the regulator does not know how to solve it. Having said that, I'd like to commend the financial services sector, especially Association Bank of Singapore, and also equivalent industry group. They have done very well to organize themselves, to discuss, and find potential solutions for some of the thematic issues. We should continue to do more of this. We probably need to engage better in terms of technology company, financial services company, and also the regulator. All of us need to work together to help ourselves to understand, also to ideate potential solution for all this very difficult issue that comes with digitization. Let me conclude. MAS as a regulator is very supportive of technology innovation in the financial services sector. In fact, we strongly believe that innovation will be critical to the success of Singapore financial services sector. We are also very conscious that we do not know everything about innovation, about technology. We are also learning as much as you are also working on it. We need financial institutions, tech ecosystem partners like Huawei and many others to engage MAS actively so that we can discuss the issue and find solution to manage this risk. Thank you very much. If you have any suggestion, please talk to MAS at any time. In conclusion, I'd like to thank the organizer, Huawei, for the opportunity to share with you my concern, and thank you for listening. I wish you all the very success and enjoy your digitization journey.
Thank you, Mr. Loy, for your valuable insights. Our next speaker will be sharing about promoting innovation and inclusion through building a smart finance ecosystem. Please join me to welcome General Manager, China Construction Bank Corporation Singapore branch, Ms. Sun Nianbei. Ms. Sun, please.
Hello, Mr. Ren Ding, Mr. Jason Cao, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's my great pleasure to attend Huawei's flagship summit today. It's my first time standing on the IT stage. You want to know what I feel? Energetic, brilliant, and smart. Of course, phantom-filled. I think that's the magic of IT. Also, the power of IT company like Huawei. So I'm very excited to have a chance to get together with all of smart talents, both from finance and IT sectors in this room. The event debuted in Singapore signified the organizers' strategic focus in Fintech blueprint. It's heartening to witness the event growing tremendously in visibility and influence both in China and overseas over the past 10 years. While technological innovation changed the world and the financial sector in many profound ways, I would be glad to listen, learn, and discuss how we can work together to share smart finance. I want to start with sharing some of our experience at CCB. As you know, CCB is one of the largest banks in the world, ranking number 2 in terms of the Tier 1 capital, and has nearly 200 overseas entities covering 31 countries and regions. CCB committed in its business in Singapore in 1998, and we was awarded a qualified full bank license by the Monetary Authority of Singapore in December 2020, allowing us to offer a full suite of banking products and services to Singapore market. And today, CCB Singapore has grown to the second best performing overseas branch in our CCB group. And thanks to the favorable market conditions and the close Sino-Singapore ties. Under the QFB license, CCB Singapore, we provide specialized financial services through our 5 business centers, namely the Commodity Trade Center, Infrastructure Center, and the Investment Banking Transaction Center, and the Private Banking Center. Last one is the Fintech Innovation Center. These 5 centers are collectively the driving force for CCB's business growth in Singapore. We are committed to building an integrated cross-border financial service platform that serves our clients in Singapore and China, as well as countries participating in the Belt Road Initiative and along the new international land-sea trade corridor. CCB has a vision to build itself into the most financially savvy technology group and the most tech-savvy financial group. It was the first large SOE bank in China to set up a wholly owned fintech subsidiary. We call it as the Jianxin Fintech Company. As of the end of 2021, CCB has over 15,000 Fintech personnel, accounting for 4% for CCB's total headcount. It's invested RMB 23.6 billion in 2021, accounting for 3.1% of the group operation income. CCB upgrade our core banking system called New Generation System, which is developed in 30 of overseas branches, including Singapore. This new banking system catered to the emerging and evolving financial needs and lay a very strong foundation for CCB digital transformation in the global markets. With Fintech, we reshaped our operation model, relocated our business from the counter to the cloud, and also directed the financial resources to where it's most needed. Let me share with you what we have achieved. First one, CCB was the first bank in China to establish the cloud infrastructure, supporting 9 major sectors, including governmental, housing, and the financial sectors. Second, CCB built a unified blockchain service, and this platform supports 19 business areas such as trade finance and cross-border payment. CCB was the first bank in China to complete construction of 5G messaging platform. CCB built a smart security operation, protect our network security, and maintain CCB's leading position among the peers. And the last one, CCB has granted a total of 731 patents in 2021, including 455 invention patents, which topped the banking industry in China. And also from the external achievement, CCB established a cooperation with 29 provincial governments in China and share our fintech infrastructure and expertise to assist them in social governance. We also share our banking system and risk management tool with over 1,000 financial institutions in China, helping them with a system construction and a business consulting, and create an open and sharing smart financial ecosystem. And CCB also developed and launched CCB Matchup, which empowered by fintech capabilities, an open B2B smart platform that recommends and matches cross-border business opportunities. Nearly 1.2 million users in 48 countries have registered on this platform and posting close to 1 million business opportunities, which lead to 54,000 successful matching makings. This platform brought value-added service to business in need and makes fintech more inclusive. And now I want to share with you about the Singapore branch. You know, Singapore is a financial center and a fast-growing fintech hub with the government committed to growing it into a smart nation. And its innovation-focused mindset, high quality, talent pool, and also the business-friendly environment had made it one of the world's biggest tech hubs. And the CCB Singapore branch has identified fintech as the important area for our business growth. As I mentioned earlier, we established the Fintech Innovation Center in Singapore, one of the 5 centers. We had set up a brand new fintech exhibition hall to showcase CCB R&D capabilities in fintech and its innovative projects. Welcome to this exhibition hall. And we also participate in the Singapore Fintech Festival 2021 for the first time as the bronze sponsor. And then I want to share your last section about outlook and collaboration. At CCB group level, we will continue to allocate more resources to cultivate the fintech ecosystem, expand its talent pool, and stimulate the vitality of innovation. In Singapore, our Fintech Innovation Center will serve as a bridge to connect resources and expertise of CCB Fintech with local needs and participate in developing the Fintech solutions. We will also build up our Fintech team to take more proactive approach to exchange ideas and promote collaboration between the local fintech industry and the CCB group. I would like to extend my sincere thanks to Huawei for organizing the event. Huawei and the CCB's strategic partnership established in 2019 has brought numerous fruits, as Huawei play a very important role in CCB major digital innovation programs. And Huawei's ICT products are widely used in CCB key IT infrastructures, providing sound support for CCB to maintain a leading position in the fintech race. We believe there is a great potential for leading tech houses like Huawei and leading financial institutions like CCB to collaborate and bring intelligent financial services to the next level. I would like to we would like to build up a strong fintech team that will grow with us and continue to conversation and learn from our peers. We would like to more than happy to have a chat with you at or after this event. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Ms. Sun, for sharing your insights. Thank you. Our next speaker will be sharing about Huawei Cloud and everything as a service for smart finance. Please join me to welcome President of Cloud Marketing, Mr. William Dong. Mr. Dong, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is William Dong. So today, everyone talk about cloud. So what is the basic idea of a cloud? I think all of us should know that the cloud is not just like the software as a service, hardware as a service, but also technology as a service, experience as a service. That's why today, my topic is everything as a service for smart finance. So first, I want to give you an overlook about Huawei Cloud, the market progress. Since you know, Huawei have launched our public cloud solution in year 2015-17. We are not so old, we are very young. But you can see, for Huawei Cloud, we are the fastest growing, the mainstream cloud provider. Up till now, Huawei is one of top five cloud provider globally. And you can see for our finance industry, in this sector, now for Huawei Cloud, we have served more than 300 customers globally. And here I show the Earth here. For Huawei Cloud, now we have launched our service in Asia Pacific, in Europe, in Africa, in Middle East. For the globally, we have over 27 regions. In Asia Pacific, outside China, we have launched our service in Singapore, in Thailand. And this year, we also will launch our new location, a new service in Indonesia. I think this also shows Huawei's confidence about the market, about cloud. And then today, what we talk more about smart finance. Smart finance. I think everyone have do you find something change for our daily life? I just have a question for you. Is there anyone bring wallet here? Bring your wallet here. You can raise your hand. Oh, very few, very few. You can see up till now, maybe several years ago, we bring the wallet daily. But now we just use a mobile phone. This is a change. This is a change. So this kind of change also bring our bank, our securities, our insurance have a big change. And we see this the main feature of the smart finance. We show here all cloud, convergence of data and AI, and all connected. Why is all cloud? I think everyone, when you want to buy something, you want this product, have the best technology, have the best performance, and with the lowest cost. I think this kind of requirement just can be met with the cloud. Based on the cloud, you can use the latest technology. So today, let's start from the cloud. And for the cloud, I will want to start from the core, since we know for our bank, the core is the most important. For the past 10 years, when we mentioned this kind of core architecture of bank, I think they have one topic we cannot avoid, is the mainframe offload. You can see from the last 10 years, just do this kind of two-phase, from a closed system to an open systems for the last 10 years. But if this kind of architecture can meet today's requirements, today you can see the internet has shown its huge impact in China. When the Double 11 online shopping festival, the transaction per second can be reached more than several hundreds of thousands transactions per second. I think this kind of traffic is 10 times, 100 times than the normal days. So if you use the traditional architecture for this kind of traffic peak and traffic valley, how can you address it? So I think for us, for our bank, for our finance, this kind of a distributed, cloud native, this kind of architecture is the best choice for our core systems. So today, I have bring Huawei's cloud native core banking solution here. For this kind of cloud native core banking systems, it mainly focuses on three scenarios: mainstream offload, and build a new core, and digital banking. And for this kind of solution, what we can provide high reliability, high availability, high concurrency, and agile. Since these solutions we put here have three important products, which is distributed UCS and distributed database GaussDB. And the third one is for the software development pipeline, DevOps, DevCloud. So I will here introduce one by one. First is the UCS. The UCS, the name is called Ubiquitous Cloud Service. we hope through the UCS, it doesn't matter for your central bank or your branch office, you can share the cloud service experience at anywhere, anytime. So here, I want more focus on one thing. Since for our bank, I think more and more bank you have already think cloud is suitable for you. But you have to face to this kind of a multi-cloud environment. For multi-cloud environment, they have a big challenge for you. If you deploy one new service on one vendor's cloud, how to deliver this cloud from one to the third parties. And this is the advantage of the UCS. For the UCS, they can manage the computing resource across different platforms, different cloud. It doesn't matter if it's Huawei cloud or the third party's cloud. And also for this kind of UCS, when you base on the Kubernetes container architectures, the application can be distributed to everywhere at 1 minute, everywhere when it's released. At the same time, for our UCS, we also give you this kind of tools to help you to migrate not only application, but also the application data. The second is about our Gauss database, Gauss DB. And for this database, I show the chart here. This chart is a comparison between our database and the previous database. And you can see the performance, the scalability. The performance, scalability, reliability is much better than the previous one. And our database now has been used in the Post-Saving Bank of China. And you can see, I show the figure here. In this kind of, they have used this database to create the new generation core systems. And these core systems have served more than 600 million individual customers. And for daily transactions, it's 2 billion. And when they do this kind of a migration, our expert gave me one figure that the longest, this kind of a table, the biggest table, it's reached 200 billion lines. Not 200 million, it's 200 billion lines. And we use our this kind distribute Gauss database to manage it. We have separate to 32 worksheets and make the performance much better than the previous one. But if you just considering this kind of core systems, just meet the requirement of reliability, capacity, high concurrency, I think this is not just Huawei's own, not just the issue. Since Huawei's cloud, we have served such big banks. I think here is much more important for our bank customers, for our customers. We have chosen a new core system, not only just need the reliability, but we also hope that this kind of a core banking can support the new service, support the new experience. Here, I bring here is what we call Dev Cloud. They provide the pipeline to help you to build the service, to customize application by yourself. And this kind of pipeline, you can see, they have covered the whole process through the coding, debugging, testing, compilation, and even the release, the whole process, you can do it. You can do it based on this pipeline. And for Huawei Dev Cloud, we also do the customize for our bank, for our FSI sectors. We can give you this kind of a hybrid work mode. That means you can do the coding offline, but you can do the testing, or you can do the release online. This improve your experience and also guaranteed your data privacy, data security. And then let's talk about another topic, data and AI. I think for our data, here show this kind of history. I think for the long history, what the most important word for the data is the value. For all of you, all of us, just want to find the value of data, want to maximize the value of data, want to change the data to our data asset. So today, what I want to bring here is a convergence platform of data and AI. Here is show the architecture of our convergence platform. In this convergence platform, they have two important pipeline. One is data arts, and other is model arts. These two pipelines to help you to do a very good things. Since you know, for us, normally our data engineers didn't understand the AI. They understand the data workflow, but if they want our data engineers to do some kind of AI modeling, it's too difficult. So this kind of data arts, model arts, these two pipelines to help our IT, help our engineers, very easy to governance the data, very easy to develop this kind of AI applications. But another important thing I show here is in the middle, unified metadata. What is unified metadata? I think for us, we always talk about data silos. When one day we have merged all the department, the data in one data lake, but still they have data silos. Some data is in your data lake, some is in the data warehouse, some is in your database. So based on Huawei, this kind of unified metadata, we can let you such like the big data applications can understand the data in the database. The AI applications can understand the data in the data lake. And this is our unified metaverse, unified metadata. So today, let me give more information about this important pipeline. First, data arts. And here, you can see for the data arts, they can give you the whole process, the whole life cycle of data, from the data integration, data management, data governance, data consumption. And also based on the data arts, they can provide very interesting and very competitive features in that through the data arts, they can automatically discover the metadata, automatically discover the relationship with the data. So it's easy for you to the data management. And also based on our data arts, we also provide this kind of low code to help you to just plug and play, drag and play, then do your data governance, data process. Then we choose our GaussDB again, and here show is a data warehouse OLAP scenario. So for our Gauss DB, we can provide ultra-scale, ultra-large scale, distributed this kind of cloud and storage and computing. But here I want to more focus on what I mentioned here, one-click migration. We have used Huawei's data warehouse solutions to migrate a lot of database. And we found that through this kind of tools, when we migrate, if the previous database is Teradata, we can automatically do this kind of migration, this kind of rate. It's for the data stripped. For the data stripped, the rate can be reached more than 80% or more than 95%. And if the previous database warehouse is Oracle, this kind of rate we can reach more than 80%. Since you know the data structure of Oracle is different, like our this kind distributed cloud distributed database structure. And here I also bring the case for ICBC. You can see that based on Huawei's Gauss DB data warehouse, they have the analyst of ICBC have 13,000. And for the wait time, they have reduced from 300 minutes to just 1.5 minutes. Okay? And then it's about the AI, the model arts. For model arts, give our data engineer a choice to establish, to develop AI application easily. And you can see, based on the model arts, from the data labeling to the model training to the model release. And even we say that if you want to deploy your AI not only on the central, but you want to push to the endpoint, it doesn't matter it's a camera or it's a VR glass, all can based on our model arts. So based on this kind of pipelines, I think give you a choice. You can do these complicated things in very simple way. Even for the model arts, we can provide the zero code, not just no code, zero code function to you. Okay? And here I show one thing for our AI application. It's not for bank, it's for the securities. Since we know that for securities, they have one requirement to do the precise risk control. Here's the case is show how to use the AI, to find the enterprise abnormal financial report. If you want to find some enterprise financial report, they have something unexpected happened. You can see you need the information from the public, from the web, from their financial annual report. And since for Huawei, this kind of AI, we can do this. We can find the features of the enterprise. If they belong to different verticals, we can choose the different models, different algorithm. What we call is graph fusion. Based on this kind of graph fusion, we can do the combination of a different algorithm, give the best combination to analyze it. And the curve is shown here. If you use the current like the traditional machine learning, this kind of abnormal financial report, the identification accuracy is just lower than 80%. But use the Huawei, we can as high as 90%. Okay, I think for the AI, for the data, this kind of convergent platform, I hope we can give you the choice. You can do the things very easy by yourself. And this show a new thing. Just now, David have mentioned about Metaverse. I think maybe our bank, our customer, you also think about what's the relationship between the Metaverse and you and us. Here I bring the Meta Studio. The Meta Studio is Huawei's digital content pipeline. And here I show the virtual human service, which is based on the Meta Studio. They can do the virtual human generation. You just need to upload your picture. Then through this kind of a pipeline, they can automatically to generate one virtual human. They can be similar like you. They can be what else you choose. And in the middle is the virtual live streams. You can see you can use this kind of a virtual human just based on one camera. The virtual human can act very precisely like what your facial expression, facial movement. And then here show the virtual human videos. You just need to put your text, and then the virtual human can do the presentation. Maybe one day it's virtual human to do the presentation to you. But here, what does this mean to our bank? Why I bring the virtual human service here? I think maybe one day some of you will choose the virtual human to do the live stream this kind of online education or online training, or to promote your financial product. And also for your customer service, you can be use this. I think this is the first step. And then let's go back for Huawei Cloud for the smart finance. We say everything as service. This everything as service, I think, is not only for Huawei. We have provide our technology, our skill through the cloud, but we also put our customers, our partners, the best practice on the cloud. We hope that one day for our financial customers, everything you want to find. It doesn't matter you want to use some kind of computing resource or some AI method, algorithm, or some kind of applications. You can search through Huawei Cloud. I think this is what we say, everything as a service. Okay, together, let's build the cloud foundation for an intelligent world. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dong, for your valuable insights. Thank you. Up next, our speaker will be sharing about mobile transformation for full digital and inclusive finance. Please join me to welcome President of K-Bank, Mr. Pipit Anagniti. Mr. Anagniti, please.
Good evening, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. This is very challenging. My session is about, getting close to lunch. But anyway, bear with me. I'm not spend longer than 20 minutes. First of all, I'd like to say, I've been very glad and really looking forward to visiting Singapore after being stranded, in Bangkok, Thailand domestic market for almost 3 years. So this is my second foreign business trip. It is my great privilege and honor to stand here today at the Huawei Intelligence Finance Summit 2022, which brings together leading tech companies and also financial folks all together, many of whom quite familiar to me. I wish to express my sincere appreciation to Huawei for inviting me to this conference and giving the opportunity to share our story as an industry practice, particularly on the mobile transformation for full digital and inclusive finance. And the next step will be the green finance. So let me begin by showing you, and also very important to mention here is that, we need to look back what has happening to the world. COVID-19 pandemic had burst upon us and every one of us, organization, individual. And I would say this is a good taste, for humanity, which we have to accept. We were unprepared and to respond with just very little knowledge. But I think it has been a threat to humanity, but at the same time, COVID-19 presents unprecedented challenges to our walks of life and business. On the other hand, it accelerates digital adoption to our customer interaction across the globe, particularly in Asia Pacific. And the rapid rate of adoption we have never expected. So I would like to show you here, the data supported by McKinsey indicating that the rate of consumer adoption of the digital services across Asia Pacific. On the demand side, it has been accelerated by more than 4 years. And at the same time, on the supply side, i.e. including the product and services, by 10 years. So it means a lot of things for us. So looking at Thailand itself, the digital adoption, look at the number, 137% penetration of the mobile connection. It means a lot for us as a business entrepreneur. And mobile banking penetration now stands for 120%, and very strategically important for Thailand at a very strong foundation going forward to build the digital infrastructure and also the digital payment, financial services, and so on. 99.3%. This is the numbers of the registration of the all Thai citizens of 7 million already registered in the so-called the Plum Pay, the basic infrastructure for payment in Thailand. This is something very interesting. So look at Care Bank. I would like to say we have been quite fortunate that we are steering our business to the right direction. We continue to strengthen our K+, our mobile banking application. So many different capabilities were introduced, were developed, and we were prepared to meet our customer need during COVID time. This is something we've never been think of before. That is going to be beneficial to our organization in doing business after COVID. The first one, we strive to cover all potential types of financial transactions, both local and international. Everything can be done through our mobile banking application, K+. And the second thing, what we tried so hard, i.e. during the time that we closed down all the branches across the country, so we need to think about how can we acquire new customer. The third one is customer experience. Rather than just focusing on the financial service, right? We keep extending beyond financial service to ensure that we embed our operation, our services in the ecosystem where the customers spend their life. And essentially, importantly, is that our IT infrastructure needs to be uplifted. The so-called modular design approach has been introduced so that we can have certain flexibility. We can have better speed and time to market and provides flexibility, to add more features to our services. This is something quite amazing. And to look at the numbers on the bottom left, you can see that over the past 4 years, we can increase almost 5 times in terms of the transaction on the mobile banking. And at the same time, very surprised and very glad to let you know that in terms of new customer acquisition, we use our mobile channel. And now it accounts for about 40% of our new customers acquisition. So what we have been doing, what we did over the COVID period, right? So on the right-hand side, we see we introduced the free COVID insurance policy to our customers, just one fingertip. The second one, we started introducing the e-saving account opening without the necessity to going to branch. We introduced the QR e-donation, to help the underprivileged of the society to make sure that, they can live their lives in the time of crisis. And very important also, to safeguard our people working in the front lines. So rather than allowing anyone to go visiting branch, so we introduced, the online reservation for those who would like to visit branch. So this is the story, that why we become #1 in the mobile banking K+ in Thailand in various dimensions, namely capacity, resiliencies, and also the customer loyalty, which we care much about. You look at the number, we now have about 18 million users, 80% of whom are active users. Looking at the payment transaction, numbers of transactions, and also the value of transaction, we account for about 34%. And in terms of resilience, we are the lowest. We have the lowest downtime and the fast recovery when something unfavorable happening to our system. And very important, we keep closely monitor the Net Promoter Score. This is really important because whatever we do, if it's not, at the satisfaction of our customer, they're not going to recommend, they're not going to promote our service. It doesn't mean anything. So we score 83%, above 80% as a world-class financial service sector, compared to the average 60 of the Thai average of mobile banking services. So having share with you, a lot of the innovation, the new services we introduced, during COVID and post-COVID. Also important here to mention is that not just only technology innovation that we are going to serve customer better, but also the cybersecurity that is an attachment to the digital banking transaction. So now I would say that according to the PwC's and BitSight, so we rank in terms of the cybersecurity maturity, by PwC of 3.5 and by BitSight of 800, which is pretty much close to the base in the region. We are in the same league, right? And in terms of innovation, we have been recognized by various institutions and media as a leading organization in terms of innovation in the financial service sector. Here you just name a few: Asian bankers, and also the Asia Bankings and Finance, and also Retail Banker. This is something we're really proud of. But behind the scene, particularly during the COVID time, I would say that we focus on the customer. We try to address the pain point of a customer in time of crisis, and that brings us, to the next level. And we really see the benefit of it after the COVID. And this is quite exciting moment for us, to move forward, given the fact that, we have a lot of customer on board, and then we dominate, the digital payment, in Thailand. So now just like to sum up once again, what we have been doing. So basically, we do both on financial side and also the lifestyle or the beyond financial, right? The financial side, as I mentioned earlier, over the past 4 years, we increased numbers of transactions in our mobile application by almost 5 times, right? And then also the sale application for the new customer that ready to onboard to the K-Bank customer through the mobile banking application account for 40%, which is quite significant. And again, we start recently providing additional banking as a service to our partners as well. Look at the authentication services. We currently not, in addition to just providing this kind of service to K-Bank and our subsidiary company, asset management, securities trading company, but also, to our real sector partners. On the right-hand side, we have the so-called online marketplace, right? We onboard more than 1,000 merchants, including e-marketplace, which is quite significant, right? To facilitate, embed in the ecosystem and facilitate the payment. And the next one on the right-hand side is the point redemption, which recently launched, but very successful, I would say, when we see the numbers of the points redeemed on our system, 5.3 billion, which is quite substantial. When the use of it is for the bill payment, loan repayments, and even mobile top-up. And currently, we are trying to expand the member cards as soon as possible so that on the next step, we can use our K-point as another common currency, to settle payment in our ecosystem, not just only for the banking transaction, but any kind of payment. So this is to sum up once again what we are going to do next. Here we show, the three strategic pillars to support both domestic and regional operations of mobile banking. The first one is to build up ecosystem, and we are focusing on just 7 ecosystems: health, education, financial management, travel, shopping, sustainable energies, and also the banking agents. Because here, because in Thailand, in the remote areas, in the rural area, in the countryside, we definitely need to work with the banking agent in order to reduce the cost, and at the same time, we can provide better customer solution. The second thing is the multiple sources of fund. So be it from the deposit account, this is a traditional and a conventional source of fund, credit card, member point, and also the e-wallet. Rather than looking, those players in the industries that are our competitors, we look at them as our potential partners so that, they can just provide the funding through the mobile banking application and then use anywhere. This is our dominant position. And on the international fund transfer front, we so far, at your fingertip, you can transfer money in and out in 14 currencies, and provide this service coverage, covering the 32 countries already. So the next move will be much more exciting for us, given the fact that the basic infrastructure is already there. So the most exciting K Plus launch recently in Vietnam. So basically, we spend a lot of resources. We build the core capabilities and also the basic infrastructure. So we believe in build once and deploy anywhere. So we recently, in the first quarters of this year, we launched K Plus in Vietnam as the first foreign market. And we intend to support ever closer regional integration, particularly in the Asian region. So what we have done in Vietnam, we bring world-class financial services through partnership with the local ecosystem and the technology leaders, and Huawei is one of those. And definitely, we work with tech solution, payment in the local market, and local Thai conglomerates, university financials, and also the lifestyle ecosystem partners. So this is our philosophy to expand or transfer our knowledge in Thailand domestic market to the neighboring countries market. The most vibrant market, I think everyone has been aware of, Vietnamese market is very exciting. So what we are going to do next, we aim high, having seen the fact that, the mobile connection in neighboring countries is quite promising. So starting from Vietnam, so we aim high, to have the 100 million users in the next 3 years. So this is my last slide to sum up. So we plan to mobilize the cable digital banking platform to empower customer life and business. This is our philosophy. This is our mission. As bank, so we have deeper and broader customer understanding. We collect a lot of customer behavior data and putting together, the data from our key ecosystem. So we believe that we can provide social and the financial inclusion, which is enhanced by the data-driven capabilities we are focusing so much. And we believe that digitization will enable banks to reduce the cost to serve, particularly to the retail individual, and also improve the qualities of service. Definitely, we need to work with the ecosystem partner, and importantly, the technology partner. Right? They are the one who advance the technology capabilities, and Huawei is one of that. So that brings me to the end of presentation. Just would like to say a few words, ladies and gentlemen. Going forward, we recognize that the path ahead is not going to be rosy, but we believe that we need to work together, today. As the old Chinese saying goes, 千里之行始于足下. The first journey, the journeys of 1,000 miles begin with a single first step. So let's work together to shape smarter and greener finance for our sustainable growth, for our society, for our nation, and for our region, and very importantly, for our future generation in the years to come. Thank you so much for your kind attention.
Thank you,
so
Mr.
much.
Anagniti. 你的中文很棒。Our next speaker will be sharing about delivering business value with Temenos and how they engage, grow, and scale with everybody's banking platform. It is my pleasure to invite on stage President and Chief Revenue Officer of Temenos, Mr. Eric Gerber. Mr. Gerber, please.
So, quite a display by my predecessor here on stage, Pipit, sorry. And he got me quite worried because he said the closer you get to the lunch break, the more challenged you are. So I don't know what that means for me now. Also because of his Chinese language skills, I cannot keep up with that. So I'm trying to keep myself short. As you probably know, all of us here have like a clock ticking down, so we know how long we can speak. That's for one. The second one, as I'm not even a banker, I'm going to take you on my little own research that I took to understand a bit more about the banking world. And it took me way back. By the way, I might be Swiss, but that's not me skiing there, so I don't know where we took that picture from. It looks more like James Bond. That's definitely not my profession here. So I'm going to take you back in a journey of time, and it goes all the way to the ancient Greece. Funny enough, the origins of banking go back to that time when the first sort of transactions, if you will, were made in a temple. And funny enough, the word Temenos comes from that time. It was a place, a sacred place around the Greek ancient temples. So that's what I figured out. What I also figured out is that, quite amazingly, even though one of my predecessor speakers has said that the wallets don't look the same today, well, he's quite right. And that's probably something that has changed. But that was one of the only things that has changed if you really look at the essentials of how banking is still being done today. In essence, it still helps you to protect and grow deposits and to lend money. This has basically remained untouched throughout all of these thousands of years up until today. The difference, though, in the last century, as we all know, technology has come into play. And that made things look a little bit different, roughly in three areas: where banking happens, how it happens, and who it happens with. Now, where it happens, modern technology now means it happens at the point of need. And sometimes they will need it where it will be valuable, human touch valuable. I found a reference from the mid-90s, which is when Microsoft introduced, what was it called, Microsoft Money. They were proud to say that about 100,000 households were on that platform. Now, the latest predictions and analysts say that by 2024, which is basically 30 years later, the worldwide number of online bankers will grow to 2.5 billion. That's a, 25,000 times increase or something around that mark. It's a lot more. Leads me to my next point. So how does it happen? And, automation has been increasingly efficient. We all have seen that. We're part of it. It starts to spin around. I don't know who of you wants to out themselves as being old, such as myself, who knows still punching cards. I've actually lived them when I started my profession as a coder way back in the 80s. But you know, see, through all of this, Temenos, as a provider of banking software, has only come in really in the 90s. And I keep saying that to people. When you talk about software companies, you're old when you're 30 years old. That's pretty much, you know, the duration of our lifespan. So Temenos has come in not only on the real back end when it was all about cloud and artificial intelligence. Temenos has been at the advent of 24-hour banking. And the banking systems now have all moved to the cloud. So which brings me to the who do you banking with part. That's the other part that has really changed since the evolution of banking. So in the origins, as we saw, you've been doing banking with religious authorities. You've been doing banking with moneylenders. The big banks came into play. And now, today, we have seen the democratization of banking, which is really meaning that a lot of the things have changed about who we do banking with, including embedded financing. So transformation has allowed banking to go to places it has never been before. And it provides incredible customer intimacy, which is what we basically expect. And it takes the banks out of the bricks and mortar into everyday life. However, this transformation also comes with a little bit of a challenge. And the challenge is basically that customers, us, we all expect more from the interaction with banks, right? So we all know how Amazon works, we all know how Grab works. We use our app and we interact with it, and we expect the same experience with banks. So technology like artificial intelligence, cloud, APIs, that can all help. Banking, though, is still being split now these days between distribution and manufacturing of financial products. That also means that there's fierce competition across multiple areas between the traditional banks and new players. We all see that. Banking regulations have helped to spin on that wheel. It keeps increasing. Open banking definitely was driving more competition into the area. And the privacy requirements for personal data keeps increasing technology. So the augmented reality and the quantum computing and metaverses that were all mentioned before, I mean, these are all terms that add to that space, and it just means like it's a massive challenge for everyone to get on top of. So the idea of bricks and mortar bank is holding transformation back. So combined with all of these external pressures, the banks are dealing with internal resistance, because when you need to transform, that basically means you're changing things. And change is always something that the human individuals don't like. You know, we all like to think that change is great, but then we get to do it, and that's where it starts to get difficult. So the banks of tomorrow, as we all want them to be, they will definitely be going through a rough period. That's what we're all going in together. And so that's where Temenos comes in. We're a core banking provider of technology, and we want to think that we help banks and non-banks in every way possible. So a couple of words about Temenos, and you know, I could show you how much revenue we're doing, how many people we have that contribute to the success. But at the end of the day, it's more relevant to see what it really means in terms of the market. So Temenos provides technology that helps about 1.2 billion individuals to bank. And that's about a third of the active banking community out there. For 28 years, we've done that. And we've been on a mission to put our customers at the forefront of banking. We're helping them to face the challenges in the industry and to seize the opportunity. And that's how you see these numbers up there. You know, we achieved 3 times the return on investment, and some of you might know that because you might be our customers. For those of you who are not, I have some impressive data to share with you, and then let's get on and talk. We have about 41 of the top 50 banks in the world who we're calling our customers, and we're quite proud of what we're delivering for them. We offer rich and localized package functionality, but we combine that with open technology. We run on almost any hardware, on almost any database, and on almost any platform. And the packaged approach ensures that you always have a way to upgrade. Our solutions are fueled by industry-leading investments in research and development, and as such, we share a lot with our partner Huawei, who I'm very happy that they have announced us here to, give a testimony to the partnership. We've seen our customers being hugely successful across all of the life cycle, achieving return on equity 3 times as it shows up there. That's more than the industry can deliver, with cost-to-income ratios half the industry average. And we've been pioneers in banking. We were the first to bring truly packaged and upgradable software with country model banks. And we were also the first, as I already said, to enable 24-hour banking. And the first to put core banking onto the public cloud. And last year we announced our Temenos Banking Cloud, our next generation SaaS solution. Now we're excited about the future of banking, and we see opportunities for everyone, which is basically why we call Temenos everyone's banking platform. So let's talk just very shortly about that composable approach that we are taking here. The Temenos platform is empowered through cloud services like, for instance, the Huawei Cloud, and is therefore uniquely positioned to deliver everyone's banking platform. So whether you're starting your journey as directly in the cloud or fully utilizing cloud-based banking to grow and expand and develop never-before-seen services, the Temenos banking platform will deliver value to you, your customers, and obviously also your investors. Here you see a little bit of a display of how we look at the notion of composable banking. It's all based on granular banking capabilities driven by standards. Temenos offers pre-composed, front-to-back solutions, but also our clients and partners can create customized banking services themselves through the notion of personalized sandbox and third-party solutions on our Temenos Exchange, which you see on the very right side there. Our platform is, as I already said, it's cloud agnostic. It's native and it's cloud agnostic, and it can run on any public cloud, such as Huawei public cloud. And this is a platform where services can be built and consumed by everyone, existing and new customers. So whatever segment you serve, whether it's retail, SME, corporate or wealth, you're on right. Whether you are an established bank or a challenger or a fintech bank. So enough said about Temenos. Now let's talk about Temenos and Huawei. This is why we're here. The partnership started about a year ago, and it includes, our open APIs and extensibility framework that allows us to configure, customize, and develop new functionality on top of our platform. But it's also built open from a partnership perspective. With Huawei, we share the same values and the same passion for our customers. We're combining our strength with partners, creating more value for our customers together, and that's why we work closely together with Huawei. As I already said, partnership started about a year ago, and from the beginning we realized that we have a lot in common, including the concept of always wanting to learn about things and getting better. So this is being manifested in the next sort of collaboration here, where we basically have shown our open mentality to collaborate with clients and partners. Temenos became certified on Huawei Cloud in just 2 months. And it's a process that usually takes 1 to 2 years, so it just shows how compatible our two organizations are, and our global partnership brings together the extensive cloud hosting, implementation and integration strength of Huawei and the power of the Temenos industry-leading banking platform. So we're very proud to be the first core banking platform certified on Huawei's public cloud. And we're allowing banking players to modernize their core banking systems on Huawei Cloud and to benefit from scalability, cost, and operational efficiencies. This will help banks of all sizes to grow and to go to market faster, open new businesses, and achieve industry-leading cost-income ratios as we've seen it before. We've already had a number of successes, including successful projects here in Asia Pacific. We see significant market traction that we're going to pursue, and we stay tuned for an exciting announcement about the next stage in our partnership later on this stage. For now, I want to give you an example of one of those successes in Asia, and this is about challenger banks. It's our joint success together with Greenlink Digital Bank, where Huawei and Temenos came together with a fantastic speed and teamwork to not only win Greenlink Digital Bank's trust, but also to execute in record time. It's a great example of how, through our shared values, we make the impossible possible. Temenos Open Platform enables Greenlink Digital Bank to bring innovative new products to market much faster and at a lower cost. And running on Huawei public cloud brings hyperscale, resilience, and efficiency to Greenlink Digital Bank. The end result is that GLDP will plug the gap for traditional undeserved SMEs with its supply chain financing and innovative, easy-to-use technology solutions. So, in conclusion, Singapore's first digital bank, Greenlink Bank, success is a major milestone in the region, and it shows how Temenos and our partners like Huawei are powering the future of banking. Temenos understands the challenges and opportunities of our customers face, and through our understanding of the banking industry, the technology we have, and how it comes together on our open platform, we can deliver the solutions that will help you succeed in the future. All right, and just to show you that we're not inventing all of this, these are some customer testimonials. We see Greenlink here again. I was very impressed to hear them saying that, you know, young people want to understand financial products before they buy them. So, guys, help me to engage with it. I met other customers throughout the course of the last 2 weeks, including people from Credit Suisse, like Joanna Hannaford, who says, like, help me to build my wealth management platform of the future, help me grow. And I also met this impressive character, Dan Henry, who's the CEO of a bank in the United States called Green Dot, who is basically the biggest bank that no one has ever heard of, which has 30 million customers in the United States. And so he goes like, help me scale. You see some global presence. Some of you might recognize yourselves and your own logos on it. If you're not here yet, we're happy to support. And at the very end, there are some success stories that speak to themselves. You know, I like the PayPal one on the left side, especially because it is not really a bank, but it is the institution who brought up the concept of buy now, pay later. It went through the roof. It was widely referred as the most successful and most aggressive startup to get to more than 100 million accounts within 2 months. And I guess the numbers speak to themselves. And that brings me to the end. And it also says it's 000. That means I have elapsed my time. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gerber, for your insights. Please kindly remain on stage for the collaboration launch of Digital Banking Solutions, a collaboration towards embracing digital between Huawei and Temenos. I'd like to invite back on stage Chief Executive Officer, Global Digital Finance Team of Huawei, Mr. Jason Cao, to join Mr. Gerber for the launch. Mr. Cao, please.
Hi, Jason. Very, very good. So, I think Eric really did a very, very good job, gave a very wonderful speech. You know, I was thinking maybe a lot of people you just left, you just bring them back. Yeah. So, thanks for your speech, and also thanks for you just joined this summit. You know, we've been really through a very, very, I think, interesting journey. Yeah, we just start not very long, but I think we've been building this strategic relationship between both companies, and we really think we have the same view about the industry. You know, Temenos was very successful in the last tens of years. Yeah, but right now you are moving to this composable banking. Yeah, Huawei also very, very successful in the past. Right now we take this cloud as our strategic direction.
I really think this strategic relationship will help us and help our customers go further. You know, I have a pre-talk with Eric. I think two things really impressed me. You know, firstly is you always ask me what the customer wants, yeah. And secondly, you ask me how can we do better, yeah. How can we to fulfill the requirements better, yeah. I think it's a very important moment. We'll talk about the GL Bank story. It's just a start, yeah. We are very happy to take this opportunity to announce our next round, yeah, our second phase and cooperation. So let's work together.
Absolutely, okay. Jason, and we're excited equally as we are humbled as well to be here as a partner. We've always collaborated closely based on, you know, sharing the same values. The solution that leverages Temenos open platform to provide cloud-native core banking and data capabilities. I mean, together with Huawei, we support the quick launch of digital banks, and we help larger banks accelerate their modernization and move to the cloud.
Well, with that, gentlemen, we'll move to the launch segment. If I can kindly ask that you make your way to the center stage.
Okay.
And on my countdown from 3, Mr. Cao, you will place your right hand on the digital screen behind you, just behind you. See these little orbs there? Okay. Mr. Gerber, you'll place your left hand for the photo. Okay. So are we ready? On my count, gentlemen. In 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
And with that, we present to you digital banking solutions, ladies and gentlemen. Gentlemen, can you please kindly gather for a group photo in the center of the stage? To learn more about the solutions, do take time to visit our exhibition and our consultants. They'll be more than happy to share with you more. Thank you, Mr. Gerber and Mr. Cao. Kindly make your way back to your seats. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of our opening keynote, The Future of Finance. We hope that you've enjoyed this morning's session. And this afternoon, we have 2 concurrent summits happening at the same time. Summit 1 is on digital transformation on the future, which will take place in this ballroom. Summit 2 is on building an innovation cloud for the financial industry, which will take place in ballrooms M and N. And to our virtual audience, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you this afternoon for one of our summit sessions. Take care.